Hi, and happy end of 2018. I'm Yasmine Galenorn, New York Times, Publishers Weekly, and USA Today best-selling author. If you follow me, you know who I am already. If you don't, well, you're welcome to sit down and get to know me a little bit. I won't be offended if you don't. Anyway, so I wanted to say happy end of 2018 and Happy New Year. We're coming up on 2019. My birthday is next month. And also, this is the end of an era. 2018 is the end of an era for me because I am finishing the Otherworld series. I am almost done with the last book, and I will be before the new year comes up. And so that's 13 years that I've been writing Otherworld, and it's finally done. I am extremely happy to be putting an end to the series. No, I was almost going to say the world, but I'm not destroying the world. Don't worry about that. But the sisters need their end. They need their happy ending. And they need things wrapped up. And they need to be able to rest and go on to the future. So I'm happy to be able to give them that and to give you the glimpse into what that is. Do not expect Blood Bonds to be written the same way as the other books. I'll tell you right now, I had to write it in a different way to manage to wrap up everything I needed to. So it's going to be a bit different. But I hope you'll still love it, and I hope that you will enjoy seeing what each sister has to add to the equation that finally brings the Spirit Seal arc to an end. Now, as far as 2019, I will be writing a lot of Wild Hunt books next year, and I will also, and some of you know this from being in my Facebook readers chat that I did recently, but I will also be writing a spin-off series concurrently with the Wild Hunt, and it's going to involve Raven from A Shadow of Crows. I fell in love with her character, and I know a lot of you have also fallen in love with her character. So she will have her own series. It is, set in the Wild Hunt world, and there will be crossovers between the two series. Raven will be coming into the Wild Hunt off and on, and Ember will be peeping into the Anti-Fae Adventures. It will be under the same series umbrella, so it will still be a Raven's books will still be Wild Hunt books, but it will have, the covers will be definitely different, so you'll be able to tell, and you will be able to see tagline called the Anti-Fae Adventures, or an Anti-Fae Adventure. So, she will be making her first appearance solo sometime later next year. Now, let's see what else. I'm going to answer a few reader questions and give you sort of a finish to the year with. I am apparently not saying my words right. A finish to the year with those. So, one of the questions comes from Summer, and she asks me, I've always been curious, how does Ms. Galenorn come up with her playlists for when she is writing book? I love seeing a wide range of music in each book of hers. Well, what I do is I go through, I have all my CDs ripped to my computer, because that's where I listen to most of my music is while I'm working and stuff. So I go through when I am thinking about the book, and I put together a playlist of songs that fits the mood of what I expect the book to be. Now, sometimes some of those songs will vanish off of the playlist as I go along, and more will be added. But in the end of the book, the playlist that you see, that's the final playlist for the book. And it's all based on mood, and all based on what, to me, fits the mood of the characters of the book. And I usually have sections of songs, because you see them in alphabetical order, but on my playlist they're arranged differently. And I'll have sections where It's battle music and sorrow music and party music and things like that. Next question is from Julia. If you could be any kind of supernatural being, which would you choose besides a witch? Good call, because yes, I am a witch. Um, if I could pick any supernatural being, what would it be? Wouldn't want to be a vampire. I really don't relish the idea of only drinking blood. My diet's limited enough. Um, B, as much of a nocturnal person as I am, there are days where I do want to pop out under the sun. So, one of the Fae. I love the Fae. And not the little Victorian cherubs that you see, but the way I write them. I love the concept of the Fae. And I work with dark fairy magic and my own magic. And it's heady, and it's very interesting. So yeah, I'd be one of the Fae. Probably one of the dark Fae. Another question. Someone wants to know, Beth wants to know, I'd love to learn how Ms. Galenorn got into writing. Did she have someone outside her family to encourage her? Who is her inspiration for writing the genre that she writes now? I've always wanted to be a writer since I was 3 years old. I remember I was learning to read at that age, and I remember somehow one day I just kind of understood, or someone told me, that people make the books. People write the books that I was learning to read. And right then I remember going, I want to make books when I grow up. And I always had that passion. And I've written ever since I was a little girl. I wrote poetry, I wrote short stories. I tried to rewrite The Planet of the Apes so that there were tarantulas involved. My very first story that I wrote was before I could even print, and I told my mom this story over and over, and I don't know why. I was enthralled with it, but what can I say? I've got a strange mind, even back then. But I wrote a story about some curtains, and they were green curtains, and they were in a curtain store. And there were red curtains, and there were blue curtains, and there were yellow curtains. And the green curtains were there, and they wanted to go to a home so bad. But somebody came in and they bought the red curtains. And then the green curtains were green with envy. I guess I just learned the word envy. And they waited and waited, and somebody came in and they bought the yellow curtains. And again, green curtains were green with envy. Then the blue curtains got a home, and the green curtains were again green with envy. And finally, somebody came in and bought the green curtains, and they lived happily ever after. So yeah, that's the first story I remember writing, and that, again, was before I could even write. As far as encouragement, yeah, my family did not encourage me. They encouraged me to read. I read anything and everything, and I remember one summer I read 94 books that summer. I grew up on fantasy and science fiction, and absolutely loved it, and that's what I wanted to write. But as far as encouragement, no, I did not receive encouragement much at all when I was a child for anything. I started college when I was 15, and friends encouraged me, and I wrote a lot of poetry back then, and got a lot of good feedback. Sold my first poem when I was 15 years old, and then it was a long time before I sold anything, but I started submitting short stories when I was 13, 14, and every time I got a rejection, I would sit there and I would go, this means I'm trying, this means I'm trying. Well, my first short story sold when I was in my 20s, and I didn't get my first book contract till I was 35, and that was for nonfiction, but that didn't matter. The fact is I got the contract. And then I spent 20 years, writing books for First small press and then in New York. And finally, yeah, in 2016, decided I wanted to do it my way. And here I am now after 20 years. I've been an indie author now for 2.5, going on 3, and I love it. I love being able to make my own choices. And by now, with almost 60 books under my belt, I know what I'm doing. So, okay, that's how I got into writing. And as far as influences, Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury is my favorite author. He taught me through his work that words can sing, words can be musical, words can lift you into another space. And another favorite author, Daphne du Maurier. My favorite book is Watership Down by Richard Adams. And then Rebecca by Daphne du Maurier. And third would be The Lord of the Rings, Tolkien. And then fourth would be anything that Ray Bradbury wrote. And after that, I'm a big mishmash. As far as the genre that I write, I didn't read really any urban fantasy until I started writing it. And when I first started reading it, my favorite series were Patty Brake's The Mercy series. I don't know when she started that. I'm not sure if it's before I started Otherworld or not. And then also the Sookie Stackhouse series, Charlene Harris. Love those two series a lot. And others have come in and out, it's like, but those two remain my favorite in this genre. And I also like Jim Butcher's Dresden series. I read a lot of thrillers and mysteries and paranormal and some romance. The only thing I really don't read is westerns, because I'm just not a western type of person. And I don't read a lot of computer books. My husband does. I do read a lot of nonfiction. Favorite nonfiction book is Annie Dillard's Pilgrim at Tinker Creek. It won a Pulitzer Prize, and it's brilliant. And it again taught me that it doesn't matter what genre you write, even nonfiction can read like poetry, can read like music. I'm just passionate about words in general. And I have a wide variety. I read science fiction. Greg Bear is one of my favorite authors for science fiction. I'm reading Deanna Chase's Haunted on Bourbon Street, and that's fun. That's a lot of fun. I've read a number of cozy mysteries, but my favorite was the Culinary Mystery series by Diane Mott Davidson. So yeah, it depends. It all depends. My inspiration is pulled from numerous sources. Let me see, I'll try one more question, I guess. Well, two, because these are short. One, Summer again, asked, how did Yasmine come up with Mr. Rumblebutt's name? Well, actually, Ember told me what it was. I suddenly realized she had a cat, because there was a cat walking around in the scene. And then I heard her in my head say, hey, Mr. Rumblebutt. And I was like, okay. I guess he purrs a lot and you can feel it in his hindquarters. And Victoria asked, does Yasmine plan to include any other cities or towns in Washington in any of her present or future series? I have no idea. I might. It'll probably be Western Washington. I grew up in Eastern Washington and I hate the place. I hate the climate. I don't like the area. Western Washington's my home. Western Washington is where I feel strongest. So, and that's one reason why I set all my books here. To me, the settings here, the woods here are alive and vibrant, and they are haunted and ancient, and I know this area, and I can make it real, even if I put a fictional setting in this area, like Chickasaw from the Chintz and China series. There were people who actually insisted they'd been to Chickasaw, and I was like, I'm sorry, but Chickasaw does not exist. And they were like, yeah, I was up there. And I was like, okay. Well, not so much. But yeah, I'm very passionate about the area I live in, and that's one reason I write here a lot. I want it to be real, and this is the area I know, like the back of my hand. And otherwise, I tend to write, fantasy settings. Or, all of my series are set in parallel universes. Like the sisters will never meet Ember because they live in two separate parallel dimensions universes. The Otherworld Ultiverse is not the same as the Wild Hunt Ultiverse. Anyway, so I think that's about it on questions for now. And I wish you the best end of the 2018 that you can have. And I wish you much luck and happiness and joy in 2019. And I'll probably be making more video vlogs, now that my webcam seems to be working again. If you have particular things you'd like to hear about, how I write, or my thoughts behind some of the series that I work on, please leave a question in the comments below. And I guess that's it for now. Have a wonderful and safe Happy New Year, and see you next year.